Just this week, there was a dramatic crash involving a school bus and a car driven by a high school student. The driver of the car was a teenage girl. Here's the video. You may recall it from this week. She and her sister, they missed the bus and they were on the way to school. The accident left 4 people injured, 2 in the car and 2 on the bus because the girl ran a stop sign according to police. This leaves many parents worried about how dangerous it can be for their teenagers behind the wheel. It also raises questions about just how safe it is for students on the bus. Joining us now is licensed social worker and CEO of Daniel Jim Clark with some advice on keeping our kids safe. And I know that any parent, they watch that video and just cringe.
Oh, yes, you do.
You've let your teenager, they've grown up, you've given them the car keys. Right. They're out on the road on their own. I mean, your thoughts?
Well, there are some things that you need to do with your children. Indeed, with my own kids, we had some rules and regulations. One of the things is that teenagers are easily distracted. We have over 3,000 deaths are attributed to distracted driving. So one of the first things I say, tell every parent, only have one child in the car in addition to the driver. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's because their muscle memory is not there. One of the things that we tell our Daniel kids, we're very fortunate people give us donated cars, and so I've got a lot of teens, young teens who are starting to drive, and we go over some of the basics. One of the things is, I tell every parent, one of the things you can do is make sure the children have some skin in the game. Increase their allowance so that they're contributing, even if it's $5 a month, to the insurance. Make sure that they know how to change a tire. One of the things me and my son did when we had his car was, let's change the tire. I wanted him to have some respect for that vehicle. The other thing I tell parents it's important to do is go over the basics. Always have your seat belts on. Make sure that you know how to read the gauges and the gas and things of that sort, the tires. Maintenance of the vehicle tells you have some respect of the vehicle as well. Loud music is just as bad as using a telephone because you can't hear what's going on. So we went over some of those basics with them. Of course, no texting at all. And even, folks, you cannot use the phone in the car. If you use the phone in the car, that's the same thing as texting. So you need to instruct your children in that. Night driving, one of the most important things I think is parents, I did not let our children drive, and I encourage our kids not to drive until they're at least seniors in school so that they've got some. Go over that route with that child. If they have a normal routine, do that route with the youngster as well. So those are some of the basics.
And I've noticed it, and I've talked to a lot of parents who've used this tactic. They've actually began to track their kids on their smartphones.
There's lots of apps out there for parents that can also disable the phone during the time when it's in motion. So that's one of the things that you can do. You can go to your app store with iPhone or other Google type of products, and you can get those apps. That's a great thing to have.
And that doesn't necessarily need to be done in secrecy. I mean, you can tell your kids, hey, I'm monitoring you.
Sure.
If you are going outside of the boundaries at this time or the other, I might know. And just the thought that as a parent that they know where you are, that can mean a world of difference.
Observation changes behavior, okay? So absolutely. I used to tell my child the same thing. I used to tell them I got videos even when I didn't have videos.
Right.
So, all of that helps. But the basic thing is prep your child, go over some routes with them. And I tell people, if you can afford it, have driver's education by somebody else. Parents, we already are doing a lot of discipline, so it's nice to have somebody else give them that instruction.
All right. And I love the idea of just making your kid ride by themselves.
Yes.
Especially when they're brand new drivers.
When they're brand new drivers, too many kids in the car creates a distraction in and of itself.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your advice.
You're more than welcome.